fire in Kansas.
Millions of Americans are on the move despite concerns about the coronavirus. We take a look at the Thanksgiving holiday rush. That's ahead.
And the feast will go on, but with a few changes. We look at how the Carthage Crisis Center is still planning to feed the masses tomorrow despite the pandemic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Even as the pandemic lingers on, extended unemployment benefits are still scheduled to end next month in Kansas. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a federal program that had extended unemployment benefits for an extra 13 weeks will stop after the second week in December. The U.S. Department of Labor informed the state labor agency that Kansas unemployment levels have fallen below the eligibility threshold for the extended benefits program. The last payments for Kansans included in the program will be the week ending December 12th. Economists are urging Congress to send out a new round of coronavirus relief checks. In an open letter, experts called them an essential tool in preventing an increase in poverty. Federal government sent out stimulus checks earlier this year as part of the CARES Act. New relief could be significant, especially for low-income individuals who qualified for the original one-time payments. Well, money could motivate some people to get a COVID-19 vaccine. According to a new Harris poll, 40% of people surveyed say they would get a vaccine if they were paid $100 or more to do it. But 39% would get one even if they were not paid to do it. On the flip side, 23% said they would not get a vaccine even if you paid them to do it. And 'tis the season to don the holiday decor. Or is it? According to a new survey from YouGov, more than a quarter of Americans have their Christmas tree on display before Thanksgiving. 69% said they do not break out the lights and tree until after Turkey Day. And with the stay-at-home, the theme this year, 70% said they would focus on indoor decor for the season. Well, it's a bit early for me, and I'm pretty sure for this guy too, but the weather should be good for decorating if that's your Thanksgiving tradition. Right, Michael?
You and I don't have the problem of when to, we have the problem when to start. You and I have the problem of when to take down.
Yeah.
Running joke between Tanya and I as far as when those Christmas decorations actually come down. Here's the nice part. Skywatch Storm Tracker, certainly nothing like what we were going to experience yesterday, as we still are hanging on to some rain, light rain, on the eastern edge of southwest Missouri, but for the most part, even the morning mist we have is gone right now. Live look from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, 42 degrees, but ooh, only feeling like 35, thanks in part to that wind that's been pretty consistent all morning long. But look at the barometer, pressure's on the rise. We like that because that means eventually those skies are going to clear out, even though our temperatures are going to languish in the 40s. All day long. Now, as the clouds do clear out, it's going to be a very, very chilly Wednesday night / Thanksgiving morning. As a matter of fact, as we push into it, fine, guess what? I'll do this, computer. Boom. How about that? Sunny skies, temps up into the 60s. And if you have to be outside, a south wind. We're going to break down a little bit more of our Thanksgiving forecast here in just a little bit. But this happens to be one of the busiest travel days of the holiday season. You know, if you're rolling out west to Denver, things are looking great. KCI, perfect. Kind of all encompassed. DFW and Hartsfield and Atlanta, looks great. Things going to get a little bit different on the East Coast with that rain rolling in. Tanya, I believe you got the latest from D.C.
That's right. The TSA is expecting another 1 million travelers to pass through its checkpoint today. Chris Van Cleve is at Reagan National Airport, where new technology is reducing touch points.
Despite the COVID warnings, Americans are on the move.
I'm not going to stop living because of somebody being afraid of some disease.
Around 5 million people have already passed through airport checkpoints, and TSA is expecting today will be one of its busiest since March.
Sometimes you're in a crunch and you got to do what you got to do.
You're going to see those barriers. If you go to any airport, they're going to be very similar.
TSA Administrator David Pekoski showed us some of the latest COVID protections in place, including plexiglass, officers in PPE, and new scanners in an effort to reduce touch points. Do you think people should be traveling?
I think passengers need to make a judgment. My job in TSA and my officer's job is to make sure that if you do choose to travel, we provide you as safe and as secure an experience as we possibly can.
Just last week, the CDC followed mayors and governors in urging people not to travel for Thanksgiving. Pia Duryea is driving to see her parents in Connecticut. Both are in their 80s and recovering from summer health scares.
I wanted to go see them because you see all these stories about people who wish they had seen their family members before they got sick.
But Philadelphia healthcare worker Samantha Halpern told her family to stay in St. Louis just 2 hours before their flight.
I'd rather not have them come for this Thanksgiving than risk not ever spending any future holidays with them from here on out.
The CDC is urging those who do travel to wear a mask when they're around people they don't live with, particularly indoors, and recommending, if possible, to separate the Thanksgiving eating from the Thanksgiving socializing. Go apart to eat when masks come off, socialize together with masks on. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Reagan National Airport, Virginia.
A new poll shows 61% of American adults have changed their Thanksgiving plans because of the pandemic. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, a holiday dinner.
We speak with the Carthage Crisis Center on how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the way they are conducting their Thanksgiving feast this year. I'm Caitlin Shive. That's coming up.
And later, we're making classic mashed potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The pandemic is changing the way some people celebrate Thanksgiving, and it's changing how the Carthage Crisis Center is handling its Thanksgiving feast that helps feed people in need. KOAM's Caitlin Shive gives us a look at the preparations.
Preparations are underway for the Carthage Crisis Center's annual Thanksgiving feast to feed those in need.
It really is one of our biggest events of the year. We typically feed about 400 people in the community. On a normal occasion, we feed them in-house, and then we also deliver meals to people in the community who aren't able to come out.
But this year, because of the pandemic, things will look a little differently, with a focus on to-go meals and only family members of residents allowed inside.
They're able to have family members come in, provided they're completely clear of any COVID-related symptoms, and they're able to sit down with their family members socially distanced throughout our building so they can have Thanksgiving dinner.
Karen Anderson has been a resident at the Crisis Center for almost 10 months now and was relieved to know she could still celebrate the holiday with family.
It was uplifting.
But she also wanted to help out where she could, using her time to prepare the to-go meals.
I always help out whenever and wherever I can, so it's my way of giving back.
They are prepping around 400 meals for the community with contactless delivery, and volunteers for preparations are being kept small for safety purposes.
We've had such amazing support from the community, my own personal family coming in to help prepare food to make sure that we have enough so that no one goes without.
Each community member will get a hot and cold box full of classic Thanksgiving food, something those at the center worried wouldn't happen this year, but are thankful that it is.
Sometimes the holidays are really hard. Sometimes they're challenging enough. And so if we can be a bright spot and if we can be a place of reprieve for someone to know that they've been taken care of and they've been thought of, we want to do it. So then our shift focus changed and we wanted to say, okay, so how can we do this? It's not a matter of can we, how can we do it?
In Carthage, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
And that brings us to our current KOAM interactive question. We've been asking, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Michael is going to join us with a few of the highlights from our KOAM News Now Facebook page.
Thank you, Tanya. It's been an ongoing debate here this morning from the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our Insta poll. As a matter of fact, the Insta poll is still open. You go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Had great interaction throughout the course of our day. Let's go ahead and jump into some of our comments here on the Facebook page. We're going to start with Melinda Powers. She goes with the traditional turkey dressing and gravy. Now, Mel McKinney, he going with Thanksgiving. I'll let you read the rest. We read Mel's this morning. Ryan Huffman says it's all about leftover turkey sandwiches with stuffing. I think keep that stuffing in mind. And also leftovers. That should have been one of our options right there with as many as we had. Bob Ross. I don't know if it's that Bob Ross, but it's Bob Ross. Grandma's cornbread dressing with giblet gravy. Had to explain to my kids what giblet gravy was this weekend. Yeah. Bob, that sounds great. Nona Latau says turkey stuffing and cranberry salad. And Nona also comes in with ribs. And then Laszlo 7. How about cranberry stuffing and dark meat of the turkey? Don't read the rest of that. All right, now, let's get to the Insta poll question. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? This was pretty curious right here because 32%, I got it here, I can do this, right? Ready? Watch. No, I can't do it. We can go full. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we can go full. Now, I found this curious. Like 31% right now went with stuffing and dressing. Now, the thing that was curious about it is earlier this morning, the pie and cheesecake there on the bottom, they were actually outdrawing turkey. But it doesn't matter. Turkey, the main dish, still comes in second place, a distant second place, to stuffing and dressing at 33%. Once again, we'll keep it open just for fun. It's a holiday. Why don't we enjoy it? Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. And do you want to update can we update our results after Mr. Food?
Because I think Mr. Food's going to make us one of his favorite dishes, show us how to make something. We'll get to that in just a little bit.
All right, let's do that then. I'm going to keep the Instapoll headquarters functioning. I've got the 3 interns in the back, massively collecting votes, counting rapidly, and that's why we get those updated so quickly.
Well, speaking of Mr. Food, here's what's still to come.
If you love mashed potatoes the good old-fashioned way, then you're going to want to make sure that these taters are in your Thanksgiving Day lineup.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
I know it feels like a dreary middle of the week because quite frankly it's going to be for the rest of the day. With the heavier cloud cover, I went ahead and removed the satellite just so we could talk about the remaining precipitation that we have. On the far east central portion of southwest Missouri, able to buck the rain that we had in between Nevada and Butler earlier, but now we do have everything clearing out to the west. So it should be done with our precipitation here as we progress toward the weekend. And I tell you what, our rain accumulation numbers were really something else if you go back to yesterday morning and what we saw progress through the night. Of course, right along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line where we had the multiple storm reports is where we saw the heaviest rain. But just of note, Chanute picked up almost twice as much rain as Joplin did yesterday. Now that being said, Chanute still finds itself down 6 inches since January 1. Joplin now up about 3 inches since January 1. What else would we expect there in 2020? Now, the nice thing is we can actually all take a break, even coming off of the weather that we had last night, and get ready for what's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous Thanksgiving Day. And that's in large part because the trough that we had that was over the Four Corners, it has now progressed all the way to the other side of the Ozarks. Now, as it did roll through, of course, we have some cooler temperatures right now, sitting in the mid-40s and really feeling about like it's in the 30s. That's our wind chill right there at Joplin at 35 degrees. But the thunderstorm activity, for the most part, is now crossed on the other side of the Mississippi. Going to languish in the 40s today with mostly cloudy skies. But just relax, because if you have anything going for tomorrow, it is going to be absolutely delightful. Look at this Thanksgiving forecast. So if you've got to do anything outside, you got family, friends, and you're social distancing, and you want to enjoy some time outside, how about we roll into the high 50s when the first football game rolls around, mid 60s for the afternoon. And Tanya, I think the key factor is I think everybody would kind of fight the temperatures for tomorrow, but it's going to be delightful. You don't have to fight the wind. Get those tables out there, put the 8-footers, put them back to back, put the tablecloths, put the plates on, and know nothing's going to get blown off.
Yeah. It's time to talk turkey.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Let's get the bacon. Okay, don't forget the bacon. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4th-state hero. Sergeant Ian Witchley in the U.S. Army. The soldier served in Iraq from 2009 to 2011 with the 1-1 Gunfighters Unit. To Sergeant Ian Witchley, we thank you, our 4th-state hero. Feel like your mashed potatoes are always missing something? Well, ever tried adding sour cream? Howard shows us why his classic mashed potatoes are the best ever in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If I asked you what your favorite part of the Thanksgiving Day meal is, what would it be? Is it the turkey, the stuffing, or the potatoes? For me, it's got to be the mashed potatoes. So let me show you a way to make them extra special. We start by peeling a good amount of potatoes and cutting them into chunks. We put them in a pot and cover them with cold water, and onto the stove they go. And as for how much you need, the basic rule of thumb is about a half a pound a person. Once they're tender, we drain them really well and put them back on the stove for maybe a minute or so until all the water's gone. Now, we put them in a bowl along with some softened butter, sour cream, and a bit of salt and pepper. At this point, you can either mash them with an old-fashioned potato masher or beat them with an electric mixer. If you go the mixer route, just don't overdo it or they'll get starchy. When these get passed around the holiday table, make sure you're ready to refill the bowl before you sit down, because they're that good. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for these classic mashed potatoes, so you can make sure your mashed potatoes are on the top of everyone's best of the best list. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a classic way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, all morning long, we've been asking you what your favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal is. And we want to thank everyone for weighing in on our KOAM Insta poll. If we could pop it up now, that'd be great. The winner, dressing or stuffing, yes, is winning with, what's the number there? 33%. Yep, 33% of the poll. And it's actually been leading most of the morning, I think all morning long. 33% of the poll. And turkey's coming in second place with 20%. All right, here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Jury Wednesday, and remember, as we push into Thanksgiving morning, it is going to be extremely chilly, but look at this. How does this set up any better for us on Thanksgiving with temperatures in the mid-60s, whole bunch of sunshine, and no wind to worry about? Hey, we were just talking a little bit about football earlier ago. Remember, right here on KOAM, Texans-Lions kick off at 11:30. Then on our sister station, Fox 14, the Washington football team and the Cowboys at 3:30. However, the Ravens-Steelers game moved because of COVID-19. No Sunday night football. Take advantage of the day games while you have it. Here's a look over to Dow with a look at what's coming up tonight at 5.
All right, very good. Hey, visiting Santa is a big part of a lot of kids' holiday seasons, but the experience is going to be a bit different this year. From Santa in a snow globe to Santa in a trailer, we look at what Mr. Claus is doing this year to spread holiday cheer without spreading COVID. Also going to hear from officials on what they're doing to prepare for Thanksgiving holiday travel, and Dr. Eva Dudek answers your question. Hope you join us at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.